to the OMG Hour.
It's episode number 393 of the OMG Hour, and of course, as always, forever and always, since the beginning of time, I am Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion Tane. I bet you didn't know I was that old, Tico.
I assumed that you were that old based off of, you know,
stuff and
my
things.
My eyes.
Thanks.
And whatnot. Tico, Mr. Second Place, not nearly as old as Sean.
No,
is.
Not since the beginning of time, but maybe since the beginning of history. Recorded history.
Well, recorded history. Like you're talking about like when they started
when we started recording this show.
Oh, like 2 minutes ago. Yeah.
Anyway, before we get too far, of course, give us a like and subscribe right here on YouTube. And if you're not on YouTube, come on, check us out. We got lots of stuff going on over here, and hit that subscribe button. We would love it if you did. Tico, we've been talking the last... Oh, sorry, I just need to adjust my... You know, I hate when you put your headphones on and then your ears get itchy.
I know, because you can't scratch them through the side of the thing.
Right?
You have to move it, and, then people notice.
Exactly. We've been talking a lot about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. You know, I have been playing the heck out of it. I am about, I think last night's save was 70 hours. How are you in it? Oh.
I think I'm like close to 60.
Okay. Yeah. So we're well into this game.
Yeah.
And I'm playing this game every day, as I do with any Assassin's Creed game. But now we've talked about it over the last several weeks. Of course, we missed last week. We apologize. We're back now. Believe me, we have lots of stuff to talk about this week. But last week I was on vacation, so I said, I'm just taking the week. Let's just, And then it pushes out the end of the show a little bit further into 2021.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm sure like we are both, of a sort that we are both exhausted come this time of the year. We have been since July recording
almost daily.
Daily. So like to have a little bit of a break every once in a while has been nice.
It was nice because I was actually on vacation last week.
Yeah.
Sorry, was it?
Whenever
yes,
it was.
It was last week. Oh my gosh, it's oh man. Anyway, let's get back into we've been playing Assassin's Creed. We've talked very highly of it. We've talked about what we love, how great it looks. This week, I will say that they did an update that included the essentially the next gen enhancements were brought out this week with you can switch now between quality, which brings it down to 30 frames per second, but the highest quality graphics, which includes the lighting, the ray tracing. Or you can put it on performance, which puts it up to 60 frames per second, but it brings down the visual quality in order to keep the 60 frames per second. Right. I am a visual... I love the visuals. I am not. I know there's a lot of people who are all about FPS, frames per second. I don't see, personally, I'm not educated to know the difference between 30 and 60, so my eyes don't see it that I'm aware of. Right?
Your old person eyes aren't going to notice the difference anyways. Like it could be 5 frames per second. You'd be like, what? Did something happen? Look, a dog. And then,
Squirrel. So I went to full on quality, and it made a huge difference. All of a sudden, Tico, so I've been playing it all this time, and because of HDR and because of 4K, I've found that in a lot of games, when I go into dark rooms, the TV is so bright to begin with that I don't need to pull out the torch, right? Which they've, when you go into underground caverns in Assassin's Creed, they intend for you to have to get out the torch to see where you're going. I have not had to do that with Origins or Odyssey or Valhalla up to this point because HDR and my 4K TV are bright enough that I could see everything anyway.
Yeah.
As soon as I turned on the quality, though, I went into like a church building to loot it, and I'm like, why is it so freaking dark in here? What's going on? I can't see. I literally couldn't see anything because there were no windows. And of course, because there's no windows, the sunlight wasn't coming in. like true to like the way ray tracing works.
Yeah.
There was no light in the building. I actually had to pull out the torch to see what I was doing. I'm like, holy crap. And then the same thing, I went into a cavern, and sure enough, I could see the light coming in from outside, illuminating just that room. But the further in I got, the darker it got. I had to pull out the torch. It made a huge difference with this ray tracing light. And visually, it is spectacular. I noticed right away that even the clothes suddenly had detailed texture on it.
Yeah.
Right? So good.
So, yeah, the area I'm in, like, I remember I did the same thing. I turned it off, restarted my game, and went back in, and I'm in Jotunheim.
Yeah. So you're in the Odin story. Yeah. So there's you can drink a potion and go into like a dream world. First part is in Asgard, and the second section is in Jotunheim. So you take on the role of Odin for those who are not playing. But yes.
Yeah. And so the tree that I'm climbing, and I remember like okay, it's just a regular tree. Then as soon as I turn that on, like just the details on where you're climbing and everything just looks absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah. I noticed the vegetation seemed to me more plush, more like everywhere, vines crawling down rocks, and which I'm like, those weren't there before, I'm pretty sure. It's stunning, absolutely stunning when you turn on the quality mode. Yeah. But I want to change gears a little bit this week because, while I'm, as everyone knows, a huge fan of Assassin's Creed, I have literally finished every Assassin's Creed game there is. And I know you're a big. All of them.
Everyone, Sean.
All of them.
The side-scrolling ones.
All of them.
All three of the side-scrolling ones.
I think so. I know I finished the first one. I can't remember if I finished the other two side-scrolling because I don't think they were as good.
They were not great.
They were not good. The first one was fantastic.
I'm like, did you really put yourself through that pain?
Of the main series, okay.
All right.
I have finished every Assassin's Creed game that has been made. I love it. I love it. It's, it's one of my top series. So, you obviously know I love Assassin's Creed, and I'm going to speak highly of the game, most of the time. However, I want to talk about what I think, as a fan of the series, what I think Valhalla got completely wrong. In my opinion, and tell me if you agree, I feel like as the third in this Origins trilogy, which is what this is supposed to be, it is actually the worst of the three. We had Origins, which was fantastic. Yeah. Odyssey came along and really refined. It really kind of really polished and refined what Origins started. And then Valhalla took what Odyssey refined and said, you know what? Screw it. Let's just change everything.
It doesn't feel like it's part of that trilogy to me. It feels like a standalone game. The story does not tie into any of that for me at all.
I agree.
It feels very separate. I'm not saying that I don't care for it. Like there's a lot of parts that I absolutely love, but I am not as invested. And I have been, we both know I've finished Origins and Odyssey 100%, every achievement.
Yep.
Grinded through those, played them hours at a time, and I'm finding myself I'm playing like for an hour and a half. I'm like, I'm going to play something else for a little bit.
Yes.
And I did not have that. I did not have that feeling when I played the last ones. It's like, oh crap, have I played like 5 hours in a row? Is it 4 o'clock in the morning? I didn't even notice. And with it now, I'm playing an hour, and it's like, okay, that's enough of that for now. It's a lot of repetitive.
I'm glad you say that, because I was thinking the same thing today and yesterday. I'm like, I'm jumping in. I'm like, I don't feel like playing this right now. I don't know if I want to go do the next mission. I'm just like, wait, listen, I think the main story quests, and we'll get into story later. The main story quests, I think, are very, they're varied and interesting. Like, they don't just make you do the same thing over and over again.
Right.
They have very distinct stories, and some stories are less combat. Some stories are all combat. So that's just...
There's a microphone in front of me. Who put that there?
Apparently. So I want to give them, kudos for, the actual main story missions. But I want to go back to your your statement about how it doesn't feel like part of the trilogy. My issue is not only does it not feel like part of the trilogy, it doesn't feel like an Assassin's Creed game, period. Like, you're not an assassin. You're not even a hidden one. You know? So I understand Origins. It was the origins of the hidden ones, where the assassins came from. I get it. You're not going to be an assassin to start with. It's telling that story. Odyssey was more about kind of like where the Templars came from. It was more about the Order of the Ancients and how that started and how they got a grip in society. Okay?
Yeah.
This one is like, well, what is this? This, like, because it's a Viking game, which I love that genre, or that lore. The problem is Vikings is all about raids and hand-to-hand combat.
And basically my usual style of play, where it's rush in and hit everybody as hard as possible.
But that's not Assassin's Creed.
No, like normally the Assassin's Creed games, you want to go in like, hey, there's a settlement, I want to take everybody out, you know, and there's a way, it's like a puzzle. You can look, I'm going to watch for a little bit, figure out the patterns and everything like that. And this one here, it's like, well, I can take out that guy, but as soon as I do that, that guy's going to see me, or that guy over there. And so now I'm in a battle instead of being able to, like, it's so much more difficult to do the assassinations and the stealth, because it's not designed for that anymore. And that's what it feels like. It feels like they've taken away that puzzle element of figuring out, how do I make it through this whole scenario without alerting, which I know is one of your favorite things to do.
Absolutely. I spent hours on forts in Odyssey, clearing out the fort. There are no forts in this thing. Where are the forts that I can just run in and clear?
Yeah, like there's some areas where there's bad guys, but it never feels like there's always like three guys all walking together, so I can take out one and then do the second assassin. And then the third guy, you know, calls everybody out. Yeah. And like it took me forever to get the achievement for assassinating 10 guys in a row without entering combat.
My gosh, me too. And I specifically went into an area to do that. Okay, I'm going to knock this off. 10 guys in a row, no problem. No. Yeah. No, it is a problem. And that is a problem in and of itself, Tico. The fact that you can't assassinate 10 guys in a row without getting caught for an Assassin's Creed game? Come on.
It does not behoove, like there's not, like, you know, even like the hiding in the hay and waiting for somebody to walk by. Like you grab that guy, 4 other guys happen to be looking at that time.
And they all see you. Exactly.
And they all see you. I do find some of that, like, and again, I don't mind the run in and smash a bunch of people with a bunch of axes. It's my style.
Right.
You know, if I could land a helicopter on them, I would. I'm okay
aggressively
with that.
land.
That's fine. But there's times, particularly, like I'm going for this achievement, I'm like, okay, like I don't want to have to, like, it's not as much fun to just run in there every single time.
Yes.
Like I can beat I've not had any problems. Like I'm not even at half of the full power level that they have in this thing. And I can run into any settlement and not have to worry about dying.
Same with me. I can too. But when I'm playing an Assassin's Creed game, it's not about hand-to-hand combat. You're supposed to be an assassin. You know? It's like, have you forgotten what Assassin's Creed games are, Ubisoft? What's going on?
I don't know if I've missed them. Are there like tombs, or, you know, like the puzzle style tombs that you'd go into and have to move some things around to catch light the right way to open up things and stuff like that? I'm finding like it's really just running around. Okay, like the biggest puzzle, I'm like, okay, I have to blow up those rocks to get in there to get that chest.
That's it. Those are the puzzles.
I have to shoot that thing to drop it there to get access. And
the only other actual major puzzles are the glitches. I don't know if you've come across a glitch yet.
I've done one glitch. I know there's the other things, the things where you have to like look at it from a certain angle to.
Oh right, the standing stones. The standing stones that's cool. There's also the stacking of the cairn, stacking of the rocks.
The cairns, yeah.
Which here, okay. So we've talked a lot about combat. I feel like they've forgotten what an Assassin's Creed game is. Even story-wise, we've both said, what is the story? I don't even know what the story is. Like, what is? I don't get it. Like, literally, all I have done, and I'm not even kidding, all I have done for 70 hours, Tico, and you're probably the same at 60, is gather alliances in each of the shires in England. Yeah. That's it. You go to one shire, you do a story, you gain an alliance. dedicate yourself to another shire or a region. Go do the quest for that Thane or that king or whatever. You gain their alliance. That's literally all I've been doing is gaining alliances for my clan in England.
And I get that that's part of the game, but it seems like there's way too much of that.
That seems to be the game.
Well, yeah, I'm hoping that once I finish all of the regions, then it's going to be some other thing. You know what I miss too is boat combat.
Yeah, true. Well,
I miss like.
Yeah.
It was just a fun thing. It's like, oh, I'm going to go out on the water and fire, fix up my ship, and now it's like, no, you can go along the river, and then when you get close to a monastery, you guys can go and pillage.
You can raid. I don't mind the raids, but anyway, so I want to start at I've made a list of things I feel they got wrong in this game.
All right.
And believe me, this is going to be we may not get to anything else this episode.
We are going to go
first
through
of all
one of these.
Armor.
We'll both have our piece on it. Yes.
Armor. So the other two games, and when I say the other two, I'm going to be referring to Origins and Odyssey.
The trilogy.
Okay, the trilogy.
Yeah.
So they introduced armor, which gave you stats, and if you change the armor, it would change your stats versus Hunter, right, for your ranged. There's Assassin for your assassinate abilities, and there was Warrior for your hand-to-hand, your melee combat. And your armor that you wear would increase those stats. Some were more for armor, some were more for stealth, and some were more for hunters, so you could customize your armor to your playstyle. Okay? Yeah. They've completely removed that 100%. Right now, each armor set has a single perk, which is something like, I don't know, fill your health bar to whatever when we get low or something. It's some ridiculous thing that really doesn't matter as far as I'm concerned. One perk on your armor. There is no reason to ever change your armor.
So as you go through the newly, and we'll talk about this in a second, but the newly revised skill tree, there's the bear, raven, and whatever. So each armor falls within that.
Bear, raven,
and as you increase that along the skill tree, the armor that you're wearing will depend on what you get.
There's better stats armor types. You're gonna have the raven armor, the bear armor, or the raven, bear, and was it lion maybe? Or wolf.
Wolf.
Right. Wolf.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that's just a type of armor. So your weapons and your armor are going to be one of those three types. Okay.
Right. But you get a bonus for wearing a set. The thing that I don't care for right now is once you're as far into the game, 60 hours, you have to level up your armor using resources and stuff like that.
Yes.
So why would I now? I have, if I find something new, it's the lowest level. I've not going to spend my resources. I can't get them back. I can't.
Right.
You can't break things down for whatever.
You can't sell armor you don't want.
So you're just stuck with this stuff, and I'm not starting it from scratch.
Right.
With a new armor because I've invested time into the armor I've got. It may not be the one I wanted but I've invested the time into it because that's the first armor I had. Like I'm still wearing the Berserker set, which is not necessarily the set that I really care for or anything like that, or goes for my playstyle. But I put so much.
But that's the one you started with.
Because I put so many resources into that. I'm not switching to something else because I can't get those resources back.
Exactly, and those resources, the resources you need to upgrade armor is rare. You can't just go and find a whole bunch more, especially when you get to the exotic or whatever they call the top level. You need like. Mythical, yeah. Especially when you get to mythical, it's so expensive to get the mythical armor. There's no way you're going to upgrade another armor to mythical. There's not enough resources to do it.
No, they're not easy to find. It's not like you can do quests to get more of this stuff.
No,
I believe you can buy it from one of the vendors.
No, I don't think you can. The top tier stuff.
Oh, not the top. Yeah, sorry, not the top tier, but like the first two tiers you can buy. But again, it's another resource that is the resources feel much more limited.
Yeah, very limited. The past. You can't craft arrows anymore. Arrows seem to be like at a premium for some reason.
Look, it's like I get this like I'm gonna save my arrows and not shoot these guys. Like I should be able to just go nuts firing arrows at guys' faces if I feel like it.
But no.
But like I'm like done. It's like, you know, like I'm walking out with an actual machine gun. I pulled the trigger for 30 seconds and like I'm out of ammo.
Yeah. Can we
And like
sorry. Can we talk about the skill tree for a minute? Because you brought that up earlier.
Exactly 1 minute.
Okay.
Go.
So the skill tree, the original two had a very easy skill tree. Here's your warrior, hunter, assassin. Here's skills for those things, right? You choose your skills based on your playstyle. Now they've created this massive star field full of constellations of like hundreds of choices that spindle out into the unknown. Literally, when you start,
the fog of war on that pisses me off.
There's a fog of war on the skill tree that you get skill points. So you're no longer levels. You have a power level, which is the number of skills you've purchased. And those skills are things like health +5, melee +2, whatever. It's just little things. And then eventually there's a major ability that you gain by spending a point on it. And those are surrounded by a bunch of these little ones, which includes that, like +2 bear armor, +2 raven armor, +1 to Dane axes, +1 to swords, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So you're choosing all these piddly little attributes. That's the word I'm looking for. You're buying all these piddly little attributes to eventually get to a skill that you can assign to use and
abilities.
An ability. And then only when you get to the edge of that constellation does it then open up another constellation. So you have no idea where you're going because you don't know what all the other skills are.
Walking along a skill tree, and that's what bugs me. Is like, people like to play. Now it will let you can reset one if you've placed one that you don't like. You can reset it, or you can reset the entire thing and go from scratch.
But
then why bother if you can do that anyways? Why bother doing the fog of war? You're just wasting my
time.
I spent all this time getting to the edge here, finding that's
it.
The thing for the predator. That's the thing for the predator bow, which I absolutely hate using.
Right.
So that was a waste of my time coming to this edge. I wanted to go to the other edge because I need something for a two-handed axe or whatever.
Right, or the hunter bow, which is what I use mostly, right? I don't care about the predator bow. I want the hunter bow, which is your typical bow. It's just like if you're... Yeah, why is there a fog of war on it? Why is it so complicated to begin with? As far as I'm concerned, that actually gives you less control over creating a character for yourself, because while they're color coded, yellow for assassin, blue for hunter, red for warrior, you can go up to all the warrior stuff, but it's still adding hunter abilities. It's still like hunter attributes. It's still adding assassin attributes. It's like, what is the point of the skill tree? Why did you remove the attributes from the armor, which in my opinion made way more sense? The armor and weapons had all your attributes on them.
That I liked about the last one. So what you would do is you'd look at your skill tree. It's like, a triple shot. It's 3 spots down. And okay, I'm going to plan my path to get that really cool thing that I want to be able to do.
Yes.
And now I'm just like, okay, I got skill points. All right, drop one here, drop one here. I don't care.
Right.
Because I don't care where I'm going on the stupid thing.
Because we don't know where we're going. That's the problem.
I'm not planning my path. I'm not building my character. It's basically like rolling the die every time going, I got a 4. Okay, I'm going to take whatever random thing this is.
Also, if I can say that the abilities in that skill tree are, like, I don't care about most of them.
I use
2 abilities out of the 8 that are available to me that I've mapped. I'm not kidding. I use 2 of them. One is throwing axes.
I use that one. I like that one.
And the other one is the poison arrow. Literally, that's all I use. In Odyssey and Origins, I used all 8 of them consistently.
Yeah. Well, the adrenaline thing makes it very hard because you get a new adrenaline spots as you go, but even specifically early on when you only have the one,
you can only use one ability. One.
Yeah, it's training you to not rely and use that.
Yeah.
Because it can only be used once in a fight. So I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to use this, and that was it. And then it's like 15 minutes before I can use it again, so
Yep.
I don't feel like I really. It's not like a timer like it was before, like a cooldown timer.
No, before it
It's
was you
now.
had to hit. You had it's the same. You still have to get damage in, and you gain it back
Oh,
through damage. But let's talk about. I find the melee in this game. They've removed the refinement. Like I found melee was very much like a dance, easy to
yeah.
counter. As soon as you countered, it would knock them back, and you would get another swipe in.
I didn't
Now
even figure out what the counter button is.
it's a button masher now, Tico.
Yeah, it's like there's the occasional dodge and hit, and
Yeah,
it doesn't even work that well because they try in order to make that they make guys respawn more quickly and stuff. I'm not.
the counter is the left bumper is supposed to be counter. It's your secondary weapon is counter,
Okay.
right? But and when they go to do and you get a rune that flashes yellow, which means you can counter it. If it's red, you have to dodge, right? But if they're yellow and then you go to counter it, I find I'm not kidding. 75% of the time, Tico, counter never does a thing. It does nothing.
I be honest with you, I haven't touched that button since I started the game because I wasn't paying that close attention in the tutorial. So that's at 60 hours in. I've not countered a single strike because I assume when they flash a color, it was like, oh, that's something.
Yeah, well,
That's
the
it.
same. Yeah, it was the same with Origins Odyssey. When it flashes yellow, it means you can count. It's basically when you see the flash, you counter it, unless it's
Okay.
red, in which case you dodge it. And if you do a perfect dodge, it slows down time if you have that skill. And if you do a perfect parry or a counter, it actually knocks them back, and then you can get some more hits in. It doesn't work in this game, Tico.
Well, clearly it doesn't matter because I haven't pressed the button once.
Well, that's
And
yeah.
yeah, like I've beaten several bosses and stuff like that, so it clearly does not matter that much. I
No,
mean, I've gotten away with just dodging and emptying the 6 arrows that I had into a guy, and then dodging for enough time to try to hit him
yeah.
and jump out of the way.
I want to carry on with one thing you said is you played for 60 hours. Obviously, you didn't even know about counter. And that
Yeah,
is another thing indicative of this game where there's so many unexplained things in this game. Like, I'm going along, and apparently, I just found out after 70 hours that the weight on the armor and the weapons actually
yeah.
affects your evade skill. Like, I didn't
Oh,
know
well,
that.
that explains why some
What?
of those things are -1 weight. Like
Right?
because yeah, there's some of the runes that you can put in are -1 weight. I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Right.
I don't know why would I attach -1 weight? That makes no difference to me.
And speaking of unexplained things, have you been on the map and noticed all the in the legends in the legend on the map? Have you
Yeah.
noticed all the icons that I'm like, I have in 70 hours, I haven't even seen these icons yet. What are these things? How can I play this game, Tico, for 70 hours and not see some of these icons on the map?
Yeah,
What
well,
are
because
they?
most of them show up as the blurred thing until you get right next to them,
Yeah, I guess that's the
or you
problem.
or you pay the map maker to unlock things on to show it so
Oh,
you
the
can see things.
cartographer, right. Is that
Yeah,
what he does? He actually unlocks them on the map for you.
yeah. So it's like, oh, you pay him 13 silver, and he'll unlock, tell you what one of the random things are in one of the zones.
And one of the in the old one, when you found resources, you would just run up to it and press the Y
Collect.
button to
Yeah,
collect it, right? The collect button, Y or triangle. Now the iron deposits, which are used to upgrade slots on your weapon, which just increases damage,
yeah,
you actually have to stop what you're doing, run up to the iron deposit, and actually hit it with a melee attack to
yeah.
open it up and then collect the resources.
With the bad collision detection on that
Oh,
too. So you're running over, it's like,
terrible.
and I'm hitting it. I'm hitting it. I swear. And then
Yep.
like three
Yeah, 3 or 4 hits before you even hit it.
can then press Y to collect the random things.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
oh my gosh. Anyway, and all I mean, it's there's a ton of bugs in it. Like
Yeah,
I've
you're still broken, right?
oh yeah,
But
my
thankfully
my
you got there first and told me what to do properly, so I didn't get stuck.
my game is broken. I will not be able to complete the game actually with the way it is now, and I'm not even saying that facetiously. I say that because there is a quest in London that I discovered online after I did. There's a quest in London where you have to kill two of the Order of the Ancients. I killed the arrow first, and then I had to go kill the leech. It's a quest called Bleeding the Leech. So I've assassinated the leech, and it says, now go talk to Erke. But Erke is nowhere to be found, Tico. He's not on the map. He's not in the city. And even if you, according to people who have the same error, even if they do find him, you can't talk to him.
He won't talk to you. It doesn't trigger the next part of the conversation.
The whole point is when you have the next step of a quest, it puts the quest marker on the map, right? Where this is where Erke is. Go talk to him. There's no quest marker. Erke is nowhere to be found. I cannot finish the quest, which means I can't finish because those two, like the way the Order of the Ancients goes, is I need to kill all those in order to get clues about the head guy underneath them in order to find the big head of the Order. And I can't get 2 levels up from there without that last clue. Because it won't let me, because there's actually a third guy in London that I have to go kill, and I can't kill him until I turn in the Leech quest.
Can you not just kill him anyways? Because I know in the past games, and I know I've actually went into an area and I just killed a guy and I got like Order of the Ancients guy killed.
I guess if I figure out who he is and where he is.
Yeah. You just go just murder everybody.
Right, yeah. I'd have to know where he is in London in order to do it. But if it's, those 3 were actually story-based. So I don't know how that works.
It may not put you forward to but that maybe if you figure out who it is and kill him, it'll jumpstart you to the next bit.
If he's there. He may not be there because he's story-based.
He may not generate, you're right.
Right. But you're right. If I find him, maybe. But also, when it comes to the alliances on the map, I don't have the London Alliance because I can't finish the London story.
Yeah, unless that kicks it, like killing him will kick you forward in that, and maybe it'll...
I don't know. I guess I have to find out. Anyway, we have talked a very, very long time on what Assassin's Creed Valhalla has gotten wrong. Listen, I'm still playing the game, but I agree with you. I don't find myself super excited every day to sit down and play for hours on end. I sit and I play a couple of missions. I'm like, I've had enough. I'm leaving now. It does not have that gripping nature that Origins and Odyssey had.
Yeah, right? I had in the first ones, I had every single fast travel point, every single thing unlocked within the first, that was the first thing I did, just run from...
Now I don't want to do it. I don't even care.
Point to synchronization point. Like, that's all I did was run from, I just unlocked the whole map all at once so I could go through all the areas. I don't care. I don't care as much.
I don't care. Exactly. Oh my gosh.
They've done something to I mean, again, I'm still playing it. I'm still popping in every day and playing, but they've got a very short window before we've got a few other games coming out that we are going to be excited about.
You and I just got our review copies of the game formerly known as Gods and Monsters, Immortals, Fenyx Rising. So we're playing that now, and I was quite happy to jump into that today. Let me tell you.
Yeah. It's a very fresh thing, and we've got a Cyberpunk coming up too. But I'm looking forward to getting a little bit more of. I got to read it because I can never remember what the new name is. Immortals: Fenyx Rising.
Yes. Yeah, we'll have some footage for you guys next week. We're playing it now, and it's I talked about the demo. I loved it, and now we're starting from the beginning, which is great. I'm enjoying it. I've got it on quality mode again.
Me too.
Although I don't see how really the quality part comes in because it's more cartoony.
It is more cartoony.
Yeah.
But still, I just put it on because why not?
Me too. Me too.
I'm liking it so far. I mean, I'm only about an hour, half hour in maybe. I'm enjoying it so far. It is fun. It has a very Breath of the Wild
feel, doesn't it?
Meets Assassin's Creed sort of feel. Like the married the two of those things quite nicely. So
agreed.
I'm liking it so far.
Yeah, me too. We'll play it. We'll play it throughout the next week, and we'll talk more about it next week. I'll talk about it just real quick because it's not a review because everybody can play this who has a PS5. It's free on PlayStation Plus. Bugsnax is available for everyone to play, and I played a little bit of it. So weird, Tico, this Bugsnax game. This was the game when they announced it. I'm like, what is this? This looks dumb. I don't care about this game. Again, I've played it. I've played some of it. I played it for an hour, 2 hours. It's cool. It's neat. It's interesting. It's weird. I also still don't care about the game, even after playing it. I may go back and play a little bit more because it's cute. You know, you're just doing these missions for these grumpillas or something, I think they're called, these creatures that you are. And you're on this island where all of the creatures on the island are made of fruits and vegetables. That's literally what they are. They are fruit and vegetable creatures that you are then tasked to collect and capture. It's basically kind of like a Pokemon style game where you basically want to collect them all, right? And document all of them. There's a bit of a story going on. You've been asked to get everyone who is scattered to come back to the town, rebuild the town, and then find the lost scientist who was sent here. You're a reporter that's been brought in, and you've been tasked to find the mystery of where did the scientist go. She's missing, and you need to find her. But at the same time, you want to try to capture all these creatures. Some of them are captured by luring them with sauces. Seriously, there's ranch sauce, there's chocolate sauce, right? So if you, for example, there's these pineapple creatures that are in the ground, and the crab apples creatures will kick them out, but you got to cover the pineapple creatures with chocolate because that's what the crab creature loves. So it'll attack the pineapple creature and pull it out of the ground so that you can go and capture it. So there's little things like you need to figure out, how do I get that creature? And it may be by attracting another creature to it.
It feels like a little bit like Viva Pinata-ish.
A little bit. You're not mating them like
no,
Viva
you're not
Pinata.
mating them, but like you're trying to satisfy certain criteria for them, which is
it's a very much like a Pokemon, you know, but with these weird. And here's the weirdest part of it all. And I am sorry I didn't capture footage of this. I just captured a random 5 minutes, to be honest with you, because it's not a review. It's not a sponsored review. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
When you feed the creatures to the inhabitants, their limbs change to that fruit or vegetable. So if you take a strawberry creature and feed it to them, their hand becomes a strawberry. I'm like,
just
what?
Weird.
What?
I don't know. That's a very odd game that you have chosen to play, sir.
Well, listen.
Very odd.
It's part of PlayStation Plus. It is a free PlayStation 5 game for anyone who has PlayStation Plus. So I downloaded it. Obviously, I'm going to play it. And I did. And that's Bugsnax. It is very weird. But I was fascinated for a while. And so I played it for a while. I mean, it's still weird. It is still really weird. Star Wars Squadron was on sale this week. I picked that up. I'm excited to play that. There's been a PS5 upgrade for it, so I'll be playing it. It was like $30. So
that one has there's quite a few titles have dropped significantly for Black Friday to Cyber Monday deals. So that is one that I am interested in. I'm not 100% sure on because I am terrible at those games. I would love to play that in VR though.
Oh yes! Oh my gosh! Is that available for Oculus? Or is it
it's through Steam VR?
Oh, okay.
So you'd have to use the link cable and connect to a functioning PC to do that. It is not available as a standalone title.
So let's get a little bit of a gaming news. There's been some interesting news come up this week. Time magazine did a top 200 best inventions of 2020, and believe it or not, the PlayStation 5 was one of those top 20 best inventions. And most of it comes down to this new controller that they've developed for the PS5, the what do they call it now? I can't even remember what they call the PlayStation 5 controller.
Yeah, it's like DualSense.
No, that was PlayStation 4.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Google, what's the PlayStation 5 controller called? Let's see if it knows.
DualSense.
It is a dual.
Yeah, okay.
They say the PlayStation 5 will have a redesigned controller
called
the DualSense.
DualSense. Okay, thank you, Tico.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Well, I said it first, so technically.
Okay. All right. So I thought Dual Shock. I'm thinking Dual Shock. There's DualSense. So the game that came with the PS5, which is the Astro Playroom, really shows it's a demo. It's a tech demo for the controller, really. It's got a microphone right on the controller, so the game uses breath, like you have to blow in it to push things. Obviously, the touchpad is still there from the PS4. The biggest thing in it, Tico, that is absolutely fantastic, and this is one of the reasons why Time named it one of the best inventions of 2020. The haptic feedback in this controller is unbelievable.
Yeah.
When you're walking over sand, it physically feels different than walking over, say, grass. It can actually change how the controller rumbles based on what you're doing. Not only that, but in Astro Playroom, on screen the robots jump into your controller, and the speaker on the controller, you hear them all inside there, and then it tells you to shake the controller. And when I did this, when I turned it upwards, like if I turned the left side up, you can actually, and I'm not kidding, you can feel them falling from the top of the controller to the bottom. It actually rumbles in such a way that it physically feels like they're inside falling down.
Okay, that is pretty cool.
Like, what? And then you spin it back the other way, and you can feel them falling from the top to the bottom. That's how sensitive the haptic feedback is.
I'm going to have to try that when I come over next.
Yeah, and then the best thing about it is the haptic feedback on the triggers. It can physically stop the trigger from moving until you push harder, right? So it actually feels like there's pressure. There's a mini game in it where you're actually pulling a lever like a slot machine.
Yeah.
But you know how the lever, you can pull it slightly and then it stops and then you have to pull it way down? The trigger is made to feel like that. Like you go psh, and then click. You have to
I want to play that, Sean. Let me try it.
And of course, the bows and arrows, which I haven't experienced yet, but Fenyx, Immortals Rising has that. So when you're swiping through the far sight and seeing things, the triggers are rumbling, and then you can feel like almost like a heartbeat as you're getting closer to something. And then you pull the trigger, and there's a bit of a resistance as you pull the trigger to turn on what that FarSense item is, the Farsight item. Okay. So, yes, I absolutely agree that what they've done in this DualSense controller could really change the game. Physically, it literally changes the game. The question is, how well are developers going to utilize this? Even Phil Spencer is impressed with what Sony has done, and he spoke out about, he thought it was absolutely fantastic, and what they've done is so innovative for the gaming community, much like when Nintendo came out with the Wiimote controllers and everybody copied them. It's that similar. Sony has done that similar thing where it's now just a matter of time before everyone else
rips them off.
Copies that. But that's what's incredible about this innovation is it is an innovation that makes sense to gaming.
Yeah.
Right? And it makes sense to the point where I really hope it catches on so that, yes, maybe Microsoft will come out with their next version of their controller with the same kind of feedback in it so that gaming will truly utilize it. Because if Microsoft doesn't adopt it and it's only Sony, it'll eventually die away because developers won't take the extra time to develop for it.
Right. Unless it'll be just first party. That's what happened with the Kinect.
Right. It was only first party titles.
Yeah, that's what happened with the PlayStation Move.
Yes.
You really need to have the third party developers give a crap about it.
Right. And the only way for them to give a crap is for Microsoft to copy them. For Microsoft to say, hey, like Phil Spencer said, what a fantastic idea. Yeah. This is innovative. What a great idea.
Steal that.
Right. Or, they work so well with Sony now, honestly. Well, who knows? Maybe they'll just license it from Sony and say, hey, teach us how you did it.
They'll trade something.
Right.
They'll be like, hey, we've got this, you've got that. Let's work together.
Right.
We'll give you one teraflop.
Yes, exactly. We'll give you an extra 10. Right. We've got 12, you've got 10. Let's make it an even 11 across the board. Anyway.
There we go.
One final thing before we move on. We're going to talk a little bit about TV today. But surprise, surprise, Tico. The Marvel's Avengers game has yet to recoup its development cost. Wonder why.
Broken system. So it is on for 50% off during Black Friday.
I still don't want it.
Which is still 50% too much.
I still don't want it.
They have made some horrible mistakes. Their DLC was just announced. Like the DLC that they promised was still just announced that it's coming sometime in December. The first two DLC packs are both Hawkeye, which to me seems like the stupidest plan ever. Like, hey,
one's Kate Bishop, right?
Yeah, let's one's Kate, but I mean they're both
Hawkeye.
I'm sure they're going to play slightly differently and stuff like that. But like, hey, in the wide world of Marvel stuff that you could add to this game,
yeah, when you play as Kate Bishop, you miss more often because she's an amateur.
But it doesn't. But why go two archers back to back?
I don't know.
If you're gonna do that, do like an archer pack. Like, hey, December we're coming out with the Hawkeye pack, and it's going to be the Kate Bishop and Clint Barton pack, and then give us somebody else.
Yeah.
Later on, I mean, not that anybody's really going to care at this point because there's less than 1,000 people are playing this on PC.
Oh, it's crazy.
Like that. This is a multiplayer game. You need people to play. This is the same problem that Anthem ran into.
It is an Anthem. That's the problem. It's an Anthem game.
Yeah, the exact same problem. If people aren't playing it, it's going to die an early death.
This should not have been an Anthem game. This should have been a single-player story. Period.
Yeah, you know what's done really well in the past for Marvel stuff is like the X-Men Legends, Marvel Ultimate Alliance type of games. That's what this should have been.
No.
That style of game.
I disagree. What this should have been, Tico, is a Spider-Man game. This should have been Spider-Man for the PS4 as the Marvel Avengers. That's what it should have been.
Oh, yeah. They had every opportunity to build a great game, and they've decided to do this instead. And yes. I'm disappointed, and I will be playing it probably. Let's do our standard thing. They're still coming out next gen. I'm going to give this a $10 price tag.
Okay. Canadian?
American.
Yeah,
let's go American because it's gonna be easier to figure out because it'll be like 12 or whatever.
It'll be $14.99 Canadian.
$14.99 to $9.99 American. And I'm gonna give this an April. I'm gonna go April 14th.
It'll be $10. Not Christmas.
No. It's not going to drop because it's already at the price point where they feel comfortable putting it right now at $39, which is still way too high. But this is their $39 is hoping to get more people involved and like tricking some parents into.
But by the time
Marvel stuff, I'll buy that for my kid. It's 50% off.
By the time it's $10, it's not even worth playing.
No, but that's what I mean. They're going to try to recoup something by putting it in at $10.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to give it to Game Pass. You know what? Here you go. Add it to Game Pass.
They're going to have to.
Yeah.
They're going to have to. They're going to need something in order to be able to because it's a microtransaction game as well. So they're going to have to hope that by making it free to play, they can't do it too soon though because they're going to massively piss off the 800 people that are currently playing it.
That's true. Anyway, let's move on. We've got just over 10 minutes left, but let's talk a little bit about television and movies. Really quickly, Animaniacs came back. It's on Hulu. I've watched a few episodes. Huge Animaniacs fan, but I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it with the new series. There's a lot of stuff missing. The little things that I thought was hilarious, like the good idea, bad idea skits. That little 30-second skit, the little wackos music. It's just, I feel like you've got an Animaniacs skit, you've got Pinky and the Brain skit, and then you've got a Dot, one of Dot's musical skits at the end. And it's like the same formula every episode. And I'm just not finding them very humorous.
I have not watched it yet. I did watch them back in the day.
Oh, I loved them back in the day.
I have not watched the new one yet.
I've got 3 VHS cassettes full of Animaniacs with the commercials taken out. I sat every morning and recorded the episodes and paused at every commercial. I've got 3 cassettes full of the original run from the 90s on video cassette.
I don't know. Like it's weird because there's like Saved by the Bell came back this week as well. I haven't watched that yet.
I never watched the original. It was one of those shows I was aware of, and I semi-knew some of the characters, but it means nothing to me that it's coming back. I know it's back. Other shows that's back, I know we've talked about it already, but I just want to reiterate how freaking good Fear the Walking Dead is this season.
It is a good season. They are doing some really good character development.
Holy crap!
Both the good guys and the villains.
Yeah.
And, like they've done an excellent job of just sort of creating some really good tension.
Yeah.
Where you almost don't even realize that there's zombies around.
Yeah. Like they've kind of walked away.
Walked away from the.
No pun intended.
They've walked away and left them for dead.
Yeah, left them for dead. It's not. Yeah, it's less about the actual Walking Dead now, which I'm okay with. Yeah. But what I love about it is how they are actually humanizing the bad guys this time. They're not just the bad guys. There's some emotions in there. There's actually character development with Jenna or Jenny.
And it's not just a sadistic villain.
Yes,
they're doing a good job. Again, what they did with Negan.
Yes.
Where they built him out to be a 3-dimensional person, not like the governor who was just an evil, sadistic.
Right.
He's
even Alpha wasn't really brought. She was a little bit 2-dimensional as well.
Yeah, so this is nice that they're building out. Like, is she the bad guy?
Right.
Right. Is she, or is she's just in a world that needs somebody like that.
Right.
Because of the world that we are in, and it's really interesting and fun to watch, and I've enjoyed it so far.
On the opposite side of that, I'm finding myself hard pressed to get back into World Beyond. If you're the Walking Dead World Beyond, I'm finding that really kind of slow and boring.
It is, and they are. I'm watching it still, but I am not as intrigued. I don't really like many of the characters.
Right. I've got a bunch of episodes waiting to watch, whereas when Fear the Walking Dead comes on, I'm like, yes, Fear the Walking Dead.
I liked the episode the other day for World Beyond where was it Frank?
I don't know. I'm like 2 or 3 episodes behind.
Oh, the producer from 30 Rock. Frank?
I have no idea.
Oh, have you ever seen 30 Rock?
I have not.
Oh, well then that's a reference.
He's in it?
He's in it.
Oh, okay. The other show that I cannot wait to watch every week, which I don't think was on this week for some reason, Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, it was on.
Was it? I must have missed it. So I've got an episode. Yay! I've got an episode to watch.
Episode 7.
Star Trek Discovery this season. Oh my gosh, fantastic! I understand you're caught up now.
So I am not completely caught up. I am, however, like when we last talked, I had still not watched any of Discovery. So I am now on season 3, episode 3.
Oh, fantastic! So you're in the future with us now.
In the future with you, including all of the short treks as well. So I am completely.
What are your thoughts? Okay, season 1, first half of season 1. As someone who's not a Trekkie like me, what were your thoughts of the Klingon War?
I still enjoyed it. I was not it was not as much fun. I didn't. It felt very.
How about it felt like those aren't Klingons?
Yeah, I mean it's. I don't know. I didn't. It did. It took about 4 or 5 episodes to get into, and then it started getting good, and I started.
And then the mirror universe stuff was fantastic.
Yeah,
right.
And then I started enjoying it, and I'm like, okay, this is. And now, again, I've gone through.
And season 2, the Red Angel storyline, was that not fantastic, or what?
Yeah, I really enjoyed I've really enjoyed it so far, and again, to the point where it's like, okay, like I'm going through at least 2 to 3 episodes a night.
Oh yeah.
And really, really enjoying it. I'll be caught up probably. Well, this weekend's sort of shot for me, but I'll be caught up eventually.
What I love about season 3 now, because they're 930 years in the future, is even as a viewer, we don't know the state of the universe now. All of a sudden, We don't know what's going on. It's all foreign to us too. You know,
Yeah.
we are sort of in the position of the crew of Discovery, where
Learning what's happening,
everything. Because think about it, we've been watching The Next Generation, since 1987. Okay,
Yeah.
so we are well ingrained into the technology but even Discovery was before that. That was original series timeline, even before the original series. So, but we're ingrained into what the universe looks like for the last 30 years. Now, all of a sudden, we've been thrown into a Star Trek universe that we know nothing about. And I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
As a viewer are discovering this new universe just the same way the crew is.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm looking forward to catching more about this season. Obviously, the first 2 episodes were like, arrival after the end of
Yes.
and both were from both sides. The arrival after the end of season 2, and so I'm really looking forward to sort of catching up the next 5 episodes.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Let's go through real quick. Ready Player 2, the sequel to Ready Player 1, came out this week. I had it on my phone the day I pre-ordered it, so I woke up one morning and I got an email saying, "Hey, your pre-order is now on your phone." I'm like, "Woo!" So I started reading that. I'm only like a chapter or 2 in.
Audiobook or
no, I read it on Kindle.
Read.
Read.
What's that like?
With words. Words, Tico.
I listen to everything that I have somebody else read it to me. That's how important I am.
Excellent. Fantastic.
You know what? Let me tell you how important it was. The first book, I had Will Wheaton read it to me. That's how important I am.
Is he going to read the new one to you?
I believe he will.
That's fantastic. Actually, I do want to listen to the Will Wheaton reading of it.
It is pretty good. It is pretty good.
Alfred Molina has now been reported to being in Spider-Man 3. So
whether or not he's reprising his role as
why wouldn't he be? Right? If Jamie Foxx is, if the other Spider-Man are coming back, I mean, chances are they're literally taking those 3 franchises and mashing them together.
Yeah, it's going to be a Spider-Verse extravaganza. We're going to see
will we get a live-action Spider-Ham? Come on, Raccoon
I
style.
At the very least, they have a pig just there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I would not be surprised if we see, what's his name, Topher Grace show up at some point.
Oh, they're talking about as Eddie Brock.
Yeah, as Eddie Brock and what's his name from
and the new
Sideways.
How about the new Venom? Is he going to be in it too?
Well, eventually they are. That's all part of the Spider-Verse. We might see Morbius show up as well.
Yeah.
So Jared Leto's Morbius show up because they're all part of the Spider-Verse. And there's crazy. The Madame Spider mini-series that they're talking about as well. So
right. This is crazy. Like, Spider-Man 3 is turning out to be sort of that Crisis on Infinite Earths style, Avengers Infinity War style, bring everything together, but from the Spider-Verse.
I hope they bring in Donald Glover as a Prowler as well.
He's already been in it. I mean,
he's already been in it as that character. That's why I hope that they bring him in as the Prowler finally.
A couple weeks ago, it was announced that Wonder Woman 1984 is going to be released video on demand, HBO Max, as well as in the theaters internationally. So because of the U.S., everything's still closed, and Canada actually, well, at least here in Ontario, I'm hearing that we might be on lockdown again. I'm not sure.
Some of the areas are.
Yeah,
Toronto, Peel, Durham, I think presently is all on lockdown right now.
So, but anyway, HBO Max, they're basically going to be streaming on Christmas Day. But not only that, but apparently Godzilla versus Kong, because they've been creating this whole monster universe with Godzilla and Kong all together, and all culminating now with Godzilla versus Kong. Apparently they're going straight to streaming for this. They're not even going to bother with the theaters. Again, it's going to be HBO Max and Netflix that's going to be streaming Godzilla versus Kong. Okay. And on that topic, the Russo brothers, they believe streaming is the future of the cinema.
It really is. The whole idea of going and sitting in a cesspool that is a movie theater right now in this time, kids who are making barely minimum wage,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
being paid for, to be being responsible for our safety and disinfecting that theater.
No.
The same kids are doing it that couldn't manage to sweep up the soda that was spilled on the floor from the previous showing the last time I went to a thing, and my feet stuck to the floor. I can't really trust that they're going to really give a good wipe down,
Right?
from a COVID standpoint.
Yeah.
When we're doing it that way, people are not going to feel comfortable going into a crowded box of germs anytime soon.
Not for a long time. It's gonna. There's done a lot of damage has been done to the theater going experience. That's going to take a lot of time and effort to undo, if it can ever be undone.
No, and the thing is, the theater experience as we know it was controlled that way because of the stranglehold that the theaters, the power that they had.
Yes.
No, we need to have 30 some odd days or 60 days or whatever it is, exclusivity to these things. And the studios just sort of like, okay, yeah, we'll just do that for you guys. And the studios are starting to realize
we don't need them.
Well, it's not that they don't need it. It's just that the theaters don't have that power anymore because people are not going to want to go.
It also,
so now studios are going to figure out different ways.
It's also getting to the point where it's sort of, at this point in the year, it's enough is enough. We need to make money here.
Yeah.
We need to get these movies out there. We can't keep holding on to all these movies.
I am upset that it's been, as you said, a full calendar year without a Marvel MCU movie.
Completely. It's been, by the time Black Widow comes out, we said this 2 weeks ago, by the time it comes out, it'll be 2 years since the last movie.
And it was supposed to be out March. Or May.
May, and then November, as you can see on my calendar over there, November 6th. Now it's April something.
Yeah, we should have had 2 to 3 this year.
We should have had 3. We were supposed to have 3. There was Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and Eternals.
Yeah. So it's just the fact that we're missing so much of this already.
Yeah. The studios are like, we got to get these out. We can't hold on to all these films.
They have to. And yes, there's a good chance that releasing them on video on demand or something, they will not make as much money as if they had released them in the theaters during the peak of theater time.
It's true.
But releasing them in the theater now and trying to wait, they are not going to make the money they want to make anyways.
Yeah.
So you may as well get them out there, get the premium HBO money, people are still going to be like, I want to see that day one. They are going to pay for the $30 rental. To watch, the Mulans or whatever. Yeah, they maybe aren't going to make as much money as they were hoping.
Yeah.
But they're going to make some money rather than it just...
Yeah, exactly. Or they you increase the cost of Disney Plus and you start adding bigger movies.
Yeah.
People will pay for it if they know that they're going to go straight to Disney Plus.
Right. Exactly.
Everyone will be happy to throw down, a couple of extra bucks a month to have that,
Yeah. Let the theaters, just let them die. I mean, I hate to say it. I loved growing up watching them as in movies in there as a kid, but we are at a point where I think that it's
got to come to an end.
People stopped, listening to records, and they stopped, stopped listening.
That's right. Records, cassettes, CDs,
stuff
it's all streaming now.
Move on. We eventually move on. There'll be the Playhouse and stuff like that will be still available for the fancy movies and stuff like that.
Or even the second run theaters that they only show second run movies. Maybe they'll still be around. Those things. But it's definitely going to come to an end. Much like this episode is now coming to an end.
Ooh,
this has been episode number 393. Of course, give us a like, subscribe, and comment right here on YouTube. If you're not watching us on YouTube, come on over to youtube.com/OMGNexus. You can follow the show on Twitter at the OMG Hour. On Facebook, we are OMG Nexus. And we're also on Twitter as OMG Nexus. I am Zion Tane everywhere, and that is XIANTAYNE.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Second Place and Instagram for all of our board game goodness at Flipping Tables with OMG.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thank you for watching. We will talk to you again next week.
Bye, guys.
And before we talk to you again next week, click that subscribe button right down below. You
Where
will
is it, Sean?
not...
Where?
It's right there.
Where? No.
It's right there.
Okay, follow your finger straight down.
Straight down.
Okay.
Yes, it's right there. And check out those videos over there for more goodness that we do all the time. And you know what? We got some new stuff coming soon, so check us out.
Do it.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.